The more abortions that they provide, the more money that they make. There are billboards that have just been put up this week to vilify pregnancy resource centers. We are faith-based. It would be against our faith to lie, deceive, and pretend to be something that we are not.
Hey, Brian here, and we are in Boston, Massachusetts. Unfortunately, the home of 9 abortion facilities. Our research shows there's about 2 or 3 pregnancy centers here in Boston, this being one of them. Here in Massachusetts, we know in 2022, post the Dobbs decision, the General Assembly passed even looser restrictions on abortion. There used to be some limitations on when you could get an abortion, these kind of things, but now they're opening the floodgates. In Massachusetts, you can have an abortion on all 9 months of pregnancy based on whether or not the quote-unquote doctor allows for that. So we're excited to be here in Boston, and we're excited to continue this pro-life journey. Right there. Wow, hospitals. This is our 4th hospital doing abortions in Boston. I'm not sure I know how I feel about that.
The destination is on the right.
Well, we are passing the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, and we are told that they do research on baby body parts at this abortion facility here. And my children are thinking, wait a second, if they're not babies and they're just a clump of tissue, then why would you need it to do research on? You would need human parts to do research for human beings. Huh, interesting.
My name is Bill Cotter with Operation Rescue Boston, and I'm glad to be here on the Pro-Life Tour, and thank you for visiting our city.
So where are we standing today? What's this building? What's going on here?
Well, we are standing in the city of Boston in front of Planned Parenthood, which is one of 4 establishments of Planned Parenthood in our state. And it's the only abortion facility in the state that has actual sidewalk access. Everywhere else, they and all the other abortion bills have parking that's, on their property behind a fence.
Brendan O'Connell, I'm excited to be on the Pro-Life Tour. We've been in front of this place for quite a few years. It used to be up the street on Beacon Street or Comet, and now they've got this place. We hold 40 Days for Life here and a lot of other things. We had a men's march here in Boston. Men's march is started by the fellow up in upstate New York. He believes that men should be responsible and all that kind of stuff. And he had us all dress up in suits. We go about 2 miles up to the State House.
When did you first get started in the pro-life movement? What's kind of that story?
I dated a girl, and she had had an abortion while she was at UCLA, and she, was horrified by it. Actually, at the time I dated her, which was for about a year and a half, it really never came across my mind, because I hadn't been doing the show or anything, that abortion might have been the reason she had, psychological issues and that kind of stuff. And then I saw her in church. She was pregnant out to here, and I didn't see her for a year and a half. She has had quite a story in that the second time she got pregnant, she was going to go to law school. She met a guy at a mixer, and she got pregnant, and that kid's parents had 2 psychiatrists, the parents, and they said, we'll pay for your first year of law school, we'll pay for this, if they pay for that if you have an abortion. And she said, well, you psychiatrists, whatever, you all may be right, but I'm having this child.
What keeps you going? Why do you keep coming out?
Because abortions keep going on, but aside from that, what is, energizing me? I'd say it's the grace of God. Terrible as this state is in terms of culture and, life issues and so on, there nevertheless is a remnant of people who are willing to advance the cause of life.
Actually, I'd watch the morning shows. This was back in the 80s, and whenever an interview on the abortion issue came up, it was 5 minutes long, maybe 4. You could see that the interviewer was sweating bullets on doing the interview. They'd always ask the pro-abortion side, usually Planned Parenthood or NARAL. The pro-life person may have gotten in one response, and then it was over, and then there was a great wave of relief that came over the face of the interview. It still isn't being covered. Recently, we had the FDA versus Hippocratic Oath doctors and others that are safeties for women. But the way you hear about it on the local news, I just can't fathom how wrong they are.
Never is it ever called to question in any of their accounts to give any account of what happens to women in here. Women who have had serious injuries, trauma, post-abortive syndrome, and so forth.
So we were at the Planned Parenthood in Boston, Massachusetts, and a father with 2 young girls was explaining to them as we were doing an interview that, oh, those are evil people. And I kind of got my ear, and the little girl asked, what? Like, she was kind of put aback. Who are these evil people? She didn't quite understand. And then he pointed to us who were doing the interview. He says, yes, those are the evil people. And I'm not sure about you, but I don't know that prayer and fasting and standing up for life and justice makes anyone evil. I think taking the lives of a little innocent child, I think that's the evil thing that's happening here in our society, and that's what's happening here in Boston, Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Diane O'Toole. I'm the Executive Director of the Boston Center for Pregnancy Choices, and I'm excited to be on the pro-life tour. When I was in high school, I got pregnant by my high school sweetheart. I wanted to keep the baby, and I didn't get any support, and I was pushed into having an abortion. I consider myself privileged to be in this role because I help women like me instead of feeling that abortion is their only option.
Yeah, I think that was kind of my next question is a lot of times we're screamed at and said, well, this is their choice and this is so-called pro-choice. Is that the case here?
It's interesting because the pro-abortion side, it calls themselves pro-choice. And what I say is that we're truly the ones that are pro-choice. We're not pushing for just one choice. We strive to create a safe space so that women can think through what all their options are and be educated on the different types of abortions and the risks from that. And actually our information has over 100 actually, research studies that back up the information that we provide to our clients when they come in.
I'm hearing that recent current events, the government here is not happy with pregnancy centers and the work that you're doing. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's right. And they're not happy with us because they're heavily funded by pro-abortion organizations. And we affect their bottom line because the more abortions that they provide, the more money that they make. They don't like us because we help women and support them emotionally as well as materially so that they can carry their babies full term. The services that we provide are options counseling, education about the types of abortion, free pregnancy tests, free ultrasound referrals currently, but we hope to have ultrasounds on site again in the near future. We also provide material resources. We have mentoring programs, and we have mothers and fathers in training programs as well. What people don't realize about our services is that we also have after-abortion healing counseling.
So what is that? Why would I need healing counseling after abortion?
Because abortion is traumatic, and even this past year we have had 3 women come in who wanted to commit suicide because they had had an abortion. Now that's the extreme, but we deal with emotions everywhere in between. And we have a program that's called Forgiven and Set Free. That is a truly freeing program and healing program. I like to say we offer hope, help, and healing in our center.
There was some big press conference recently and a bunch of money being thrown at something. Tell me about what's happening.
Yeah, the $1 million campaign that you referred to is actually $1 million of taxpayer money that was issued by the legislature as part of this economic stimulus package that is a $1 million campaign against pregnancy resource centers. And the previous governor line item vetoed that particular line in that economic stimulus package. And the current governor put it back in, and the legislature overwhelmingly passed it. Many of our politicians are heavily funded by pro-abortion groups. A couple of years ago, actually, when our current governor was the Attorney General, she issued a consumer advisory warning against pregnancy resource centers, basically warning the general public not to come to us because we were somehow deceiving women and, forcing them not to have abortions. There are billboards that have just been put up this week that have women in them and saying to stay away from these anti-abortion centers. And this is being funded by our state, by our own tax money. Yet here we are, charitable organizations, faith-based organizations that are just trying to help women and men to be able to keep their babies full term, just striving to create a safe space where women can truly think through their options. If they are in an unexpected pregnancy, they can be very scared and feel alone. And we come alongside them and we love upon them and we just let them know what resources we have available. And sometimes that just makes all the difference. If you speak to the clients that we have come in here, they're not going to tell you it's a political issue. It's a real human issue. They need help and they need support, and they don't need to be forced into a choice that they're going to regret for the rest of their lives. And it's essential, yes, maybe more so as Christians, but just as human beings, that we care for the most vulnerable in our society, which are the unborn.
Thanks for being on the Pro-Life Tour with us. We'll see you on the next episode of the Pro-Life Tour.